Slip, 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 slurp.
Swoop. Splook.
Bleach is an asshole and hits me like a rude YouTube comment within the first minute of episode 5 when it does that thing in the show that I said that the show only does in the manga. And now we have to watch Ichigo's sisters be sad again, so yay, welcome back to Bleach, everybody. Chad falls up the Shonen Jump favorite character leaderboard by button mashing his way through a fight with a hollow he can't see or hear. Rukia calls him a man without fear, which could be a clever nod to Daredevil, but isn't. Like all Bleach characters, Chad has his own brand of cool, and for him it's keeping a Jake Cool Ice Joe Camel vibe while having no idea what the hell is going on and just going along with being wherever people seem to need him to be at the time. Chado Sato, everybody. It's fun to note that he has no idea what Rukia's name is, so he just keeps calling her transfer student, which is adorable and makes me want to die, but in a good way this time for a nice change of pace. It's not too long before the fight goes full JoJo, just absolutely, unapologetically, dumbass, awesome. Anyway, they win, except of course they don't because it's too early in the episode, and now they're Cybermen. See, this Hollow is basically that annoying kid you roleplayed with when you were younger who just kept making up powers on the spot so he could never lose. Except that he's also a serial killer, but we'll get back to that Flash in the flashback. Somehow Chad doesn't lose his shit in the middle of all this, but gets stalemated by a birdcage and a couple of explodey guys. As an aside, the manga tells us that these little bastards aren't hollows at all, but are a kind of secretion of a larger organism, but also they're conscious and also they can't feel pain, so you know. The fuck? Ichigo shows up a little less late than last time and goes full Mario on the unsuspecting asswipe, which just goes to show that no matter how high the stakes are, you can never have an excuse for not looking cool. Here's a magical girl transformation. Here's a questionable translation. Chad shows up in time to see Ichigo's dead body laying on the ground, but knows enough to know he doesn't know shit and defers to the adults in the room. Anyway, Ichigo wins, except of course he doesn't because it's too early in the episode, and now their story. Bleach declares a quick moratorium on comedy in order to get real fucked up. See, Ass Mask here was a serial killer in real life and killed Bird Boy's mom. Bird Boy tripped him off a balcony, which I guess makes him a murderer too, but I'm unfamiliar with the laws in Japan, so maybe it's fine. The hollow bastard then turned into a hollow bastard, tore the kid's soul from his body, and stuffed it into a bird because I guess that's a thing hollows can do. Points for utility, sure, but I'm gonna have to dock you a few for being batshit psycho. Cue 3 months of emotional torture on par with going back home over summer vacation because the dorm's closed, and even though you have friends up here and you're close, you're really not close enough to crash on their couch without feeling like you're being a burden. Hey, remember how Ichigo's mom is dead? Probably explains why he takes this the way he does. Manga Ichigo's killing line is one syllable short of a haiku, which probably isn't as important as the fact that— what the unfuckable otaku Christ? So this is the point of no return for me back in shitty high school land, where Bleach hammered itself into my overactive amygdala as one of my favorite anime of all time despite all the shitty filler and disappointing cop-outs to come. A Soul Reaper's mall ninja shit can only forgive the bad things you do as a scary monster ghost, and it doesn't do anything to tilt the scales in your favor if you were always a cunt. So instead of becoming a pretty black butterfly, this bitch gets stabbed through the dick by a 2000s era CG door to hell. Now you may be wondering how many more episodes before we get to inhale all the inevitably badass story behind that shit. And if you are, boy have I got about 6 years of bad news for you. Taking a cue from Bleach, we're gonna move on, pretend that the coolest fucking thing in the world didn't just happen, and never mention it again. The episode snaps back to reality and tells us that the bird kid is too dead to ever be a real boy. Chad proves that he's better than all of us and pistol whips the tears out of our face by being so goddamn genuine and wholesome. Bittersweet is about as close to happy as Bleach is ever going to get, so you better enjoy this while you can. The episode ends with Ichigo stabbing a kid to death, but in a good way, and while I'm not 100% sure, I'm pretty sure they might have killed the bird too. That ends Bleach's 2-part exploration of being shitty at identifying birds in the wild. I don't think any children die in the next episode, so we've got that to look forward to, and now it's finally time to get that world building a little more complex. I can't live with this lie anymore. I thought it was a parakeet too.